If you grew up watching cartoons in the mid-2000s, you probably remember Ben 10, the story of a kid who finds a mysterious watch called the Omnitrix, giving him the power to transform into 10 different aliens. The show was all about action, adventure, and the thrill of discovering new powers. But there's a story that's been whispered about in lost media circles, a story that never made it to TV. Fans call it the 11th Alien, and those who claim to know the truth say it's the one episode that was never meant to be found. I first heard about it from a friend who was obsessed with Ben 10 and the mysteries behind the show. He told me that the 11th Alien was more than just a rumor. According to him, it was a real episode, created during the show's original run, but pulled before it ever aired. The story goes that the episode was discovered on an old hard drive, hidden in a folder marked "Do Not Use." Only a handful of people have ever seen it, and those who have say it's nothing like the rest of the series. The episode supposedly starts like any other. Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa Max are driving down a lonely highway in the Rust Bucket, joking about their latest adventure. The animation is a little rougher than usual, the colors slightly off, but at first it just feels like an early draft. Ben fiddles with the Omnitrix, trying to unlock a new alien form. The device glitches, the screen flickers, and for a moment, the Omnitrix displays a symbol Ben doesn't recognize, an 11th icon, pulsing with a strange, dark light. Ben, always eager to try something new, slams the button. There's a flash of light, and he transforms, but not into any alien he's seen before. The new form is tall and shadowy, with glowing white eyes and long, spindly limbs. The voice acting is distorted, Ben's words echoing as if he's speaking from underwater. Gwen and Grandpa Max stare in shock, their faces pale. At first, Ben tries to joke about the new alien, but something is wrong. He can't control his movements, and the world around him starts to blur and warp. The background music fades, replaced by a low, unsettling hum. Ben's vision flickers with static, and he hears whispers in a language he doesn't understand. Gwen tries to reach him, but her voice is muffled, distant. The episode lingers on Ben's new form as he stumbles through a dark, empty landscape. The colors are washed out, the animation jittery. The Omnitrix symbol on his chest pulses faster and faster, and the whispers grow louder. Ben tries to transform back, but the Omnitrix won't respond. The last thing you see is Ben's alien face, staring at the screen, his eyes wide with fear, as the static swallows everything. The screen stays black for a few seconds, long enough to make you wonder if the episode is over. Then, the static fades, and you see Ben, still in the 11th alien form, wandering through a warped version of Bellwood. The streets are empty, the buildings twisted and wrong, and the sky is a sickly shade of green. Ben calls out for Gwen and Grandpa Max, but his voice is distorted, echoing off the empty streets. The only answer is the low hum that's been building since the transformation. He tries to use the Omnitrix again, slamming the button over and over, but nothing happens. The device just flickers, the 11th icon pulsing with that strange, dark light. Ben's movements become more frantic, his alien form glitching and flickering, sometimes stretching into impossible shapes. He catches glimpses of shadows moving in the corners of his vision, other versions of himself, maybe, or something else entirely. Suddenly, Ben sees a reflection in a broken window. It's not his own face, but a twisted, monstrous version of the 11th alien, its eyes wide and empty, its mouth open in a silent scream. The reflection moves on its own, not matching Ben's movements. He backs away, but the reflection steps forward, pressing its hand against the glass. The hum grows louder, vibrating through the speakers, and the screen flickers with static. The episode cuts to a series of quick, jarring flashes, Ben running through the empty city, the Omnitrix sparking and glitching, the shadows closing in. He hears Gwen's voice calling his name, but when he turns, there's no one there. Grandpa Max's voice echoes from the static, warning him to wake up, to fight it, but Ben can't move. The world around him starts to collapse, the buildings melting into darkness, the sky swirling with static. According to the legend, the episode doesn't end there. Some people claim that if you keep watching, you'll see a single frame of Ben's face, half human, half alien, staring straight at the viewer, his eyes pleading for help. Others say the screen flickers one last time, showing the Omnitrix with the 11th icon still pulsing, as if waiting for someone else to press the button. The credits roll in silence with no music, just the low hum that's been building since the beginning. I tried to find proof of the 11th alien, a clip, a screenshot, anything. But every time I got close, the trail went cold. Lost media forums are filled with people searching for the episode, trading stories and theories, but no one has ever produced a full recording. Some claim to have found old hard drives at garage sales or in thrift stores, but the footage is always corrupted, the audio warped and filled with static. I kept searching, hoping to find someone who could confirm the story, or at least explain where it came from. I messaged old animators, scoured fan forums, and even reached out to people who claimed to have worked on Ben 10 in the early days. Most never replied, or just laughed off my questions. But one night, I got an anonymous email. The subject line was blank, and the message was short. Some aliens aren't meant to be unlocked. Attached was a single image, a blurry screenshot of Ben in the 11th alien form, his face half lit by the glow of the Omnitrix. The quality was terrible, but I recognized the scene from the stories. In the background, the city was warped and empty, and if you looked closely, you could just make out the outline of other shadowy figures, their eyes glowing in the darkness. I stared at the image for a long time, feeling a chill run down my spine. Was it real, or just a clever fake? I couldn't tell, but I saved it anyway. After that, the dreams started. I'd find myself wandering through empty streets, the sky swirling with static, the Omnitrix on my wrist pulsing with that strange, dark light. I'd hear voices calling my name, sometimes Gwen, sometimes Grandpa Max, sometimes voices I didn't recognize. Sometimes I'd see the 11th alien's reflection in a window or a puddle, its eyes wide and pleading, its mouth open in a silent scream. I'd wake up sweating, the sound of the hum still ringing in my ears. I stopped searching for the episode after that. Every time I thought about it, I'd feel a wave of unease, as if something was warning to leave it alone. But the story kept spreading. More people posted about their own experiences, strange dreams, corrupted files, TVs turning on by themselves late at night, always to a screen filled with static and the faint sound of the Omnitrix humming. Some fans started to believe that the 11th alien wasn't just a lost episode, but a kind of curse, a story that infects anyone who hears about it, making them see things that aren't there. dream things they can't explain. Others said it was a metaphor for the dangers of curiosity, a way for the show's creators to explore the fear of unlocking something you can't control. But no one could explain the details that kept cropping up. The static, the warped city, the sense that something was watching from the shadows. Now, whenever I see an old Ben 10 rerun, I feel a little uneasy. I remember the stories, the image in that email, the dreams that still haunt me. And I wonder if the episode is still out there, waiting for someone new to find it. I wish I could say the nightmares faded, that the story of the 11th alien eventually became just another creepy internet rumor. But the truth is, it's always there, lurking in the back of my mind. Sometimes when I'm alone in a quiet room, I'll hear the faint hum of the Omnitrix, or the echo of Ben's voice calling for help. I'll turn on the TV late at night and find the screen flickering, and for a split second, I'll see the warped city, the sky swirling with static, and the 11th alien's eyes staring back at me. I've learned to live with it, in a way. I don't talk about the episode anymore, and I avoid anything to do with lost media. But every so often, someone will bring it up. A friend, a stranger online, even a random post on social media. The details are always the same. The lost episode, the static, the warped city, the sense that something is watching from the shadows. And every time, I feel that old fear creeping back in, cold and sharp as the sound of the Omnitrix pulsing in the dark. Some people say the episode is still out there, hidden on an old hard drive in someone's attic, or buried deep in the archives of a forgotten server. Others believe it's just a story, a cautionary tale about the dangers of curiosity and the power of secrets. But those of us who've seen the images, who've heard the hum in the dark, know better. We know that some stories have a way of sticking with you, of changing the way you see the world. Now, whenever I see Ben 10 on TV, I hesitate before watching. I remember the warped city, the static, the way Ben's eyes seem to plead for help. I wonder if the episode is still waiting for someone new to find it, someone new to carry the story forward. And I wonder if, somewhere out there, Ben is still trapped in that alien form, lost in a world that doesn't belong to him, calling out for help that never comes. So if you ever hear about the 11th alien, or find yourself tempted to search for lost episodes late at night, remember my story. Some things are better left lost. Some episodes are better left unwatched. And some powers, no matter how much you want them, are better left locked away. Because once you've heard the hum, once you've seen those empty eyes in the static, you'll never look at Ben 10 or your own curiosity the same way again. I still get messages from people who stumble across the legend for the first time. They always start the same way. Curiosity, a little skepticism, maybe even a joke about how a cartoon could be so unsettling. But after a while, the tone changes. They ask if I've ever really seen the episode, if the dreams ever stop, if the feeling of being watched ever goes away. I never know what to tell them. I want to say it's all just a story, that it can't hurt you if you don't believe in it. But I know better. Sometimes I wonder if the episode is more than just a lost piece of animation. Maybe it's a kind of test, a way to see who's willing to look too closely, to dig too deep. Maybe it's a warning, a reminder that some things are meant to stay hidden. Or maybe it's just a story that got out of control, spreading from one person to the next, growing darker and more twisted with every retelling. But every so often I'll hear from someone who claims they've found a copy, an old hard drive, a corrupted file, a link that only works once before disappearing forever. They always say the same thing. The episode is worse than they imagined. The colors are wrong, the sounds are distorted, and Ben's alien eyes haunt their dreams for weeks afterward. Some say they can't watch Ben 10 anymore, that the theme song makes them uneasy. Others say they hear a faint hum of the Omnitrix when they turn off the TV at night. I try not to think about it too much. I keep my lights on, my curtains closed, and my TV unplugged when I'm not using it. I avoid lost media forums, and I don't go looking for stories about cursed episodes. But the legend of the 11th alien is always there, waiting in the background, a shadow at the edge of my vision. If you're reading this, maybe you're curious too. Maybe you think it's just a story, something to laugh about with your friends. But if you ever find yourself alone at night, with the sound of static in your ears and the feeling that someone is watching you from the dark, remember what I've told you. Some episodes are better left lost. Some stories are better left untold. And if you ever see Ben's alien face staring back at you from a screen, his eyes wide and pleading, the Omnitrix pulsing with a dark light, turn off the TV. Walk away. Don't look back. Because in the 11th alien, the real nightmare isn't what you see on the screen. It's what follows you when the episode ends. I wish I could say there's a way to break the spell, to shake off the feeling that the 11th alien leaves behind. But the truth is, once you know the story, it's hard to forget. It lingers in the quiet moments, in the flicker of a screen, in the uneasy silence that settles just before you fall asleep. I've learned to live with it, to keep my distance from old cartoons and lost media, but the memory is always there, waiting. Sometimes I'll catch myself glancing at the TV, half expecting to see Ben's alien eyes staring back at me from the static. Other times, I'll hear a faint hum, like the one that filled the background of that episode, and I'll freeze, heart pounding, until I convince myself it's just the refrigerator or the pipes in the wall. But deep down, I know better. I know that some stories have a way of reaching out, of finding you no matter how far you run. I've talked to others who feel the same. Some have tried to track down the episode, convinced that if they can just see it for themselves, the mystery will finally make sense. But every time, the trail goes cold. The files are corrupted. The hard drives are blank. The links disappear as soon as you click them. It's as if the episode doesn't want to be found. Or maybe as if it's waiting for the right person to find it. So if you ever hear about the 11th alien, or if you find yourself drawn to stories about lost episodes and hidden secrets, remember this. Curiosity can be dangerous. Some things are better left alone, no matter how tempting they seem. And if you ever see a flash of static and a pair of wide, glowing eyes in the corner of your screen, don't look too closely. Don't listen to the hum. Don't try to remember the details, because some episodes aren't just stories. Some episodes are warnings, and some nightmares, once they find you, never really let you go. So turn off the TV, close your laptop, and let the story fade. Trust me, there are some secrets you don't want to uncover, and the 11th alien is one of them.